Hi everybody, it's Keren here from tuppencecoloured.co.uk. Thank you very much for joining me today. This is what I've been making today. Now, this was inspired by something I saw when I was watching a history programme. It was an article that was in the background in a palace while the presenters were talking, and I think it might have been an inkstand, but I don't know. But I just looked at it and I thought, you know what, I really like that, and I think I could make something that looks a little tiny bit like it. So this is what I've done, and if you would like to know how I made it, then stay with me and I will show you. These are the things that I'm using today. I'm using the window box Thinlits dies, and I'm going to be using the Elegant Label punch, the Hexagons dynamic embossing folder, and I've used about a sheet and a half of early espresso card, and I've gone ahead and cut it out already just to save a bit of time in the video today. So I've cut the window box shape out twice, because you need both of those pieces to actually make the box. And then I cut another piece that was just the hexagon, the top and the bottom of the box, if you like, out of the early espresso card, and two pieces that are 1.25 inches by 6.25 inches. And still using that window box die, I've cut the top hexagon out of some copper foil, and I've got 6 squares of the copper foil that are each 1.75 inches square. I'm also going to be using the Grateful Bunch stamps and Versamark ink and copper embossing powder, and the Blossom Bunch punch. I'm going to use my embossing folder to emboss all of my pieces of copper foil, but before I do that, I just want to say a word about this particular folder, because this is one of the dynamic folders which are extra thick. And if you do this in the normal sandwich, where you would put your paper in your embossing folder, and then you'd put 2 cutting platforms, one on either side of your folder, to make a sandwich and run that through the machine, this is too thick for you to do that. It won't work, okay? So you have to do it the way they tell you on the instructions that come with the folder. Otherwise, if you try to force your machine, you may break it, and we don't want that to happen. So I'm just going to take my piece of copper foil, and I'm going to put it into my platform. Let's put that flat on the table so I've got a better idea of what I'm doing here. Okay, and if I want to secure that, I can just put a bit of low-tack tape on there just to make sure it's going through as I want it to. And I'm going to bring in my platform. Now, I've got a multi-purpose platform because I have a very old Sizzix machine. I think it was one of the first ones that they produced, a very old Big Shot, I should have said. Well, in fact, it didn't even come with this. I bought this as an upsell later on. The newer ones come with a platform that isn't hinged. You just get the extra plates that you put on or take off as you need them. Okay, so I don't want any of the platforms, the tabs open on this. I'm just going to put that straight onto my platform, and then with one cutting plate on top, that is going to go through my machine just like that. And then I'm going to emboss all of my little copper squares as well. So I'm going to go away and do that, and we will be back shortly. Here's my embossed copper foil, and doesn't that look amazing? I will say that when you're running it through the Big Shot, you feel as though there's no resistance there. It's just flying through, and there's no pressure and nothing's happening. But trust me, it does work. Look at that. That is amazing. Okay, so next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to make up my hexagonal box, and I've gone ahead and burnished most of the creases. I can see a couple here that I've missed, so I'm just going to go and do those. And then I'm going to assemble the box. Now, as I have this one in my hand, I'm going to snip off the end tabs on this piece. Just these 2 little pieces here, because that will help the box go together much more smoothly. Okay, and I'm going to use wet glue. You could use tape if you were, if you were in a big hurry. Oops. And you see what I did there? That was nearly wrong. They need to go together that way up. That was nearly a bad mistake. It's too early in the morning. I'm not thinking. I am not thinking straight. Okay. And now I'm going to put adhesive on this piece and bring those two edges together. Just like that. I tell you what, that which I just pulled out of the seam there was a backer of a dimensional, and those things get everywhere. Now I'm going to stick the base onto the sides of the box, and the way I'm going to do it, I'm going to put adhesive on each of these little panels. And then I'm just going to bring it all together, trying not to get everything covered in glue, which is always a bit of a challenge for me, because I am the world's original mucky crafter. Okay, and I'm just going to put that down on the table, take my bone folder or similar implement, and just press inside there, just to make sure that everything's sitting where I want it to, which at the moment it's not. There we go. Right, that is the back of a dimensional. Those things get everywhere. I've had them fall out of my suitcase when I've gone on holiday. Now I've got a bit of adhesive onto the face panels here, but I'm not going to worry about that today because I'm going to cover it with my pieces of copper foil. So let's get on and do that. All of the sides now have the copper foil on them, and I'm just going to apply the panel to the lid. There you go. And doesn't that look fancy? Now I can see the white edges where I've cut the foil, and I don't like that. So I am going to bring in my my sponge and my early espresso ink, and I'm just going to run my sponge just along I'm going to score these strips of paper at 2 inches and 4 inches and at 6 inches. I'm going to do them both the same. 6 inches, and I'm going to score it at, which end I want? This end, 1/2 inch. Okay. And the same thing here, 1/2 inch. I'm going to snip off the flaps on this piece of early espresso that I've cut with the window box die. Okay, and all I did was this was when I ran the card through the machine, I only put card in the place where I wanted it to be cut. So I didn't use a whole sheet of card, I just used a scrap for this. Okay, so these are the bits that I'm going to use to make the platform that the box sits on. Okay, so I'm going to do some snipping first of all. I'm just going to cut into these pieces and cut away the end there, and I'm going to snip these at quite a sharp angle. I'm going to match that angle there. Okay, and I'm going to go to do the same on the other piece, but I'm just going to show you what I'm going to do just on the one piece for now. So I'm just going to fold those pieces over out of the way just for now, and I'm going to fetch in my elegant label punch. Now this is what is going to make the legs. Now if I put it in that way, it's too big, right? It won't give me the shape I want, so I'm going to be cutting using just the side here. And for this piece, for this first one, I'm just going to put a little dint there so I know where the middle of it is, and I only need to do that on the first one. Okay, so I'm going to match up my little dint with the point on the edge of the punch there, and just going to set it in there about how I want it. And okay, so now I have one leg of my stand, and I'm just going to fold that over, and I find it easier to alternate somehow. Don't ask me why, I just do. And I'm going to put that into the punch and make sure that it's all lined up so that it's in the same sort of place, and I punch. Alright, so now I've got that shape. Okay, so now I'm going to do the same thing again onto this piece, and again I'm just going to feed it into my punch just along the side there and just punch. Okay. And now I've got that shape, and I'm going to go and do exactly the same on this piece. Now I'm going to put it together. So wet adhesive again. Now I just want to say that this length is just a little bit longer than this length, so you will have a little bit of overextension. Okay, you will have a little bit of space at the ends. That's fine, that's how it's supposed to be. Okay, so I'm just going to put a little bit of adhesive on there as well, and a little bit of adhesive on there. Put these last pieces into place. And see what I've done there? I've put these pieces on the same end. So don't do that. So what I should have done when I was putting this together was make sure that I flipped one piece over. So now I've got a little gappy piece there, but it's not a problem, we can fix that. And what I'm going to do in just a moment, just put these into place here and try and get them fairly even. So now that piece is gapping, it's floating in the breeze there. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take one of the pieces that I cut off, one of my little corners here, and I am just going to put that in there as a sort of a patch, like a bandage. Okay, and I'm just going to snip those overlapping pieces, those bits that are sticking out there. I'm just going to snip those pieces off. Now all I have to do is to stick the box onto the platform. Now that just needs some time for the glue to dry. I've got the stamp mounted up onto a clear block. I've got my Versamark ink ready. I'm going to just rub over this scrap of early espresso with my embossing buddy, and I am going to ink up my stamp with my Versamark ink. Now this is a very old and grungy pad, but you know what? It still works fine. So I'm going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for the ink to transfer well, and I've got my silicone mat underneath to give me a bit of something to stamp into. I'm just going to have a look at that, and I think that's taken pretty well. So I have copper embossing powder. Now I like to decant it into one of my little tubs. Just makes it a little bit easier to get the extra powder back into the pot, and that's got nice coverage. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to heat it. So I'm going to bring in my embossing gun here. I've got a new one. I've got a proper Stampin' Up one. Look at that. Now this is 2-speed, and because I'm embossing I want it on the higher speed. This is going to get noisy, so I'm going to turn the sound down. That's had a few seconds to cool down, and I've chopped away the extra card so that I can get in with my punch, which is ready here. So now I have to line it up. Okay, so I'm lining this up until I can see all 3 flowers in the punch, and just press down. I've just shaped those pieces with my I've just shaped those pieces with my fingers just to give them a bit of dimension, and now I'm going to layer them up using some glue dots. So I'm going to pop a glue dot in the center there, and I'm just offsetting the petals, okay, so that they don't line up like soldiers. They just offset one with the other. And another glue dot to put the last one on to the top, and again offset the petals. I'm just going to shape those again just with my fingers, just to raise them up a little bit. Now this is going to go onto the top of the completed box here, just centered just like that, and I'm going to do belt and braces job on this one. I'm going to put a glue dot into the center of, come on glue dot, off you go, just into the center. Oh, actually I'm going to put another one because that one didn't want to play. So we'll put another glue dot just in the center there. There we go. And I'm also going to use liquid adhesive. So the idea is that the glue dot will give me a quick grab, but that the liquid adhesive will be long lasting. Okay, so I'm going to bring that so I can see it, and I'm just going to pop that into the center just like that, and just press down. Give that some time to dry. Now when it has had time for the adhesive to set up properly, I will come back and I will sort of flick up the edges of the petals again. But that is pretty much done. There's the finished box, and I don't know about you, but I think that is rather gorgeous. And if you've enjoyed this video, then please do give me a like, leave me a comment, subscribe to my channel, share this video, hop on over to my Facebook page and leave me a picture of what you've been up to. I'd really like to see it. Details are below this video. I'll be posting more videos soon, and I would really love it if you would come back and join me again. But for now, thank you very much for joining me. Bye bye.